Welcome to the MadHouse podcast, a safe place where we discuss the things that have been on our mind. So sit back, relax, as we dive deep down into the rabbit hole to see how far it goes. It's episode 5 of the MadHouse podcast. I'd like to welcome y'all back. We talk about some current events today.
Keeping it relevant.
COVID.
Coronavirus. It's getting real. Shit is getting real.
Man, when I first heard about it, man, like this was a long time ago. Like before it even hit.
We talking about like before like the big push for it, or like you talking about?
Yeah, before the big push. I was watching. I think it's called Love It. I don't know. It's just like one of them like talk time T chicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Love It something. I forgot, but I always watch it. I just really interesting little show she do, and she was talking about it, and I was like, oh man, some stuff going on. China's like, oh man, there's some stuff going on. They trying to, keep it quiet. But it's worse than what it is. I'm like, oh man, that must suck over there, man. I said, it's a problem. I guess they need to figure that out. And I went about my day.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever.
I wasn't thinking about it.
I mean, I was like, okay, I was like, okay, this is happening in China. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was supposed to be like they were showing videos like dudes in China like just at the bus stop passing out, just falling out. Like
that looked like
crazy.
a regular Tuesday right there.
Yeah, I'm like,
don't y'all do that all the time?
So I'm like, okay. And then a couple of it might have been like a month later. All of a sudden it's like, oh, we got COVID in the U.S. I'm like, oh, hold up. I said,
that's close to home.
I said, that's around the corner.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when that start popping? So I was like, okay, so now it started to kind of hit close to home. Like, and still, it wasn't really like a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't paying really attention to the news at the time. So it's like, whatever. Nobody was just talking about it. I wasn't really paying attention to the news, to be honest. Just doing my thing. And then, all of a sudden, it was just like, it just blew up.
Yeah.
Like, it was like everywhere. And it's like,
jumped on your ass.
It jumped on me. I said, it was kind of funny, though. Because at the beginning of it, I was like, man, I said, it's funny because everyone's like, so going crazy. It's like, man, I don't know, this is changing our lives. I'm like, man, this is what I do. I've been self-quarantining. I was self-quarantining before it was called self-quarantine. I was self-isolating or whatever. Not quarantining, but I was social distancing. That's what it was. I've been social distancing.
Yeah, we doing that social distancing. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I said, oh man, that just sounds like, I gave it a name. I said, I was already sitting at the house by myself with the kids. We wasn't doing nothing.
Before you were reclusive. Now, well, I'm social distancing now.
Yeah, so now it's like,
I got a term for it.
Yeah, so I got. They're like, man, you being antisocial. Nah, I'm social distancing.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, I'm not.
It's like you got excuses built in. It's like, oh, no, you antisocial. Nah, it's social distancing, bro. Like, but you've been doing that for 8 months. I've been feeling this coming, brother. Like,
yeah.
I've been preparing for this since last year.
Yeah, we've been what do you call them? The ones that do like the bunkers and
Some
stuff.
of the doomsday people.
Yeah,
like,
the preppers.
Yeah.
Preppers. Yeah, the preppers. That's what he call them. Preppers. They're already prepared. They spend their life savings. Like, man, yeah, I spend my life savings on a bunker. It's this is crazy. I can live there for a whole year. I'm like,
it sounds like a stupid ass idea. Until some shit pop off. But like, the reality of like it getting to that point, because people probably know you got a bunker, and like if people know that shit,
because it's the people go on these shows like, oh yeah, we're prepping. I'm like, man, you must be the worst prepper ever, because the first thing dudes are gonna do is gonna be like, oh, we know Jeff got that bunker.
Hey, Natheeeeze, you still got that bunker?
Hey,
yeah, I'm stocking up every day, homie.
Hey, let me in there. Oh, we can't do it. We gonna get in that bunker. we gonna get in that bunker.
I want in, and I'm gonna have in.
What was that? You remember the Boondocks?
Yeah.
You remember the Boondocks?
Booty Warrior?
Booty
Yeah.
Warrior. He's like, I like shit. And I want shit. We can do do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way. Your choice, right? I was like, oh, shit. I said, man.
I mean, COVID got people out here tripping. Like, so do you think it was like? I don't think that it was initially as bad. I think the media and the way that it was like, I guess, pushed out to the masses really kind of kicked everything off. Because initially, I think it was. I mean, it was pretty serious. Like, you know, it's presenting like flu-like symptoms, and you know, it can kill you definitely. But like, I think the way that it was presented, like through the media, caused like this mass hysteria and kind of like caused everybody to start tripping, because once the media got a hold of it, and like I think once people kind of started running with the narrative that was getting pushed, I think that made everybody start panicking, because one person started panicking, now everybody panicked. I never understood the toilet tissue, and like man, I just never understood. Like I'm still trying to figure out what that is.
When it first jumped off, I was like, okay, I'm just going to the grocery store.
Yeah, get food. I need some.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab some food. I'm gonna grab, you know, some toilet paper, whatever. You know, the basics. So I get in there. The shelves were fucking. And like when I tell you these shelves,
just barren.
Like I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? And then I said. Then I go to the tissue. I go grab some tissue. All the tissue paper's gone. All the water's gone. I said, this ain't a fucking hurricane. Like we ain't like everything's not shutting down. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
now water, I get water. The toilets, I have never understood. Man, you can only wipe your ass so like. Granted, like you go to the you maybe take shit like maybe once, maybe twice a day just to stay regular, but like. Why are we stocking up on 15, like, not rolls, I'm talking about 15 packages. I'm like, why you got 15 of the 12 packs of tissue, but you only got one ass?
You know what? I don't know, you know what, it probably happened. It's probably real stupid. But one person probably flipped out over toilet paper.
But why though?
But no, like, one person probably was like, man, you know what? I'm going to stock up on toilet paper. And somebody saw that person getting toilet paper. So they started grabbing a whole bunch too. It's like, man, does he know something I don't know? Yeah. I mean, is this something about toilet paper? And then another person like, well, damn, they grabbing all the toilet paper. I guess I might as well get a couple before everybody else get them. Yeah. And then everyone just falls through. Yeah. So then all the toilet paper is out at one store. And then when people go to that store, like, well, man, the toilet paper's gone. So we need to go somewhere else and get it before they take it off. So it just starts a chain reaction of like one person grabbing it. And then eventually that store goes empty. So then everyone has to go to other stores just for toilet paper, and then they're
everybody's
panicking.
Seeing that, and everybody's just
and then it's like a chain reaction. So it's like,
I mean, imagine being that.
I'm like, but who was that first dude? What was he thinking? Like
I'm gonna get this toilet paper. I need all this.
And it probably wasn't even corona. It was probably like. Dude probably was just had the shits. Like, you imagine that? Like, dude, like, damn, man, my stomach been hurting all day, man. I ain't been right.
I don't think I'm gonna be leaving the house anytime. Let me just go ahead and let me just get 2 packages. The next dude, like, he must know something. Hey, let me go ahead and get 3 packages. And the person after that, like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get 3 because he got 3. And then it just kind of, it's like the snowball effect. And now everybody's looking up and like, because I thought I missed something. I was like, okay, does toilet paper prevent COVID from attaching to your ass and your skin? Like, what does the toilet paper do? Because, like, I see people just straight tripping over toilet paper. I'm like, okay, toilet tissue is important because you got to wipe yourself.
And that was a good 2-3 months for toilet paper, a shortage. It was good 2-3 months where it was hard to find toilet paper. I'm not going to lie to you. It was so bad. I had to go. We ran out of toilet paper. I was like, damn. I was like, I had used the last toilet paper while the kids was at school. I had to go, when I picked up my kids, they got the park, right? And you got the Porta Johns.
Oh,
no. I had to go to the Porta Johns and take the, if they were brand new though, they were still in the wrapper, but I had to steal the Porta John tissue paper.
And now somebody who really needs that Porta John shit, they not going to have
I know, somebody with that Porta John trying to take, she's like,
at least I know I can do this one thing. He all excited, like, man, I ain't got no house, I ain't got no food, but at least I know this is my Porta John. I'm finna go relieve myself.
I know be good. That Porta John been there. He's like, man, he's like, it's some dude like, man, I always know I can go to this Porta John and knock one out quietly. Man, I was like, man, I said somebody gotta go without. I said my kids go wipe their ass. Somebody go. And I was telling you, I said, remember, I said when it gets real bad, I said that's when the wolves come out.
Mm-hmm.
I said when the wolves come out, I said that's when you know they're like that's the cast of like, look, my kids, I ain't got it. My kids gonna eat tonight. You gonna have to come up off there. You gonna have to come up off them pork chops, Playboy. And he's like, but these my pork chops.
I waited in line for these. I ain't trying to hear all that. But like it makes me think about like what the Joker was saying in like what was it, The Dark Knight, and he was like, people are only as good as the world allows them to be. And I was thinking about that because I was like, that's the truth.
That's deep. I didn't even think about that.
That's the truth.
But man, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Let's give a moment to Heath Ledger. Like that's probably like the best one of the best Joker depictions.
Yeah.
I didn't see the new one. I didn't see the new one.
It's good. You need to watch it.
I was like, I heard it was he portrayed Joker differently.
Yeah,
it's a different kind. Like you can't do it. Try to do Heath Ledger, but going back to that, it's really insightful if you really think about it because people are only good as the world allows to be. Like when everything's good, for the most part, people lie. But when it's like shit's going down, like people are gonna survive. Like they're gonna do what they gotta do, and they're gonna get real dirty to do it. Their hands gonna get dirty to do it.
And you hit the nail on the head. You said my kid, because like the people that got kids, you already know that feeling of having a child, and you like, hey, I may not eat, but my son, he gonna have food. And like, I like to think I'm a good person, but if I had to choose between somebody I don't know and my son eating, I'm like, hey, listen, dude, you know, I don't have anything against you, brother, but like, my son need what you got. Like, he need it. So like, if he need it, he gonna have it. Like, I don't want to go booty war on you, but like, it ain't because I want to do this, but like, my son need this. So unfortunately for you, he finna have it. So I'm either gonna take it from you or you gonna willingly give it to me. So it's either one or the other. Like, and I'm not like this violent person, but like, if my son need it, he will have it.
But see, like, that's the reality of it. Like I said, that's how you know, like, how crazy the world can be.
Yeah.
And I said, I said, this isn't even over yet. I said, I didn't think it was gonna last as long, though. To be honest, I didn't think this thing was gonna last. I thought it was gonna last maybe a couple months, and then as they started saying, hey man, this is gonna be with us for a while. And I said, well, you know what? I said, this might be the new norm. I said, it's really changing the dynamic of how people live. Like for me, I was already they called it reclusive, but I was calling it social distancing. You know, now we have a term for it.
I was doing it before it was cool.
You know, like you know how like they have the dudes that they're like, oh, so what do you do for a job? I'm the head supervisor of the custodial
janitorial service.
Yeah. Oh, you're a janitor.
I'm assistant to the janitor, so yeah.
But you know, it's like you know how you attach a big name to something to make it. He's like, oh, you're a janitor. Well, I mean, if you gonna say it like that, yeah.
In layman's terms, that's I do clean toilets. But my way sounds so much better.
Yeah, like I'm the waste management. I'm the head of waste management. You take out trash.
You're a garbage man. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what the job.
That's part of it. That's part of the job.
On Indeed, that's what it says. But like, I know what it really means. And you're like, okay.
Like, cool. You know, I coordinate. You know, I strategically coordinate the disposal of waste products. Like, oh, so you tell them to pull the truck up so you can.
Yeah. But that's coordination though.
Yeah. Okay.
You sure right.
But you know, and it's like. But I was already social distance.
Yeah.
So now, you know, I'm just glad I got a name for it now. But I said a lot of people. I saw a lot of people going crazy. I said, you got a lot of people who like to go out and do. And granted, like I said, I did mine. Like I went out. I had fun. I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of partying. I got mine out of my system. But I said, you got a lot of people now who like they just want to go out and have a good time. And I said. They're at a different phase in their life than I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in a different part of my life. Like I already did that. Like I've traveled the world. I've partied. I've done a lot of stuff. You know. And now I'm just chilling. So, but when you have people who are in that mode, and now like seemingly overnight because you just living day when you're in that mode, you're just living day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost feels like overnight.
Just changed.
It just changed.
Yeah. It happened pretty quick too.
Yeah.
Like people probably had plans that following weekend. Oh, I'm gonna do this and then governor shut the city down. Like I think initially people didn't know what that meant because people didn't know how to act. They were like, "What do you mean the city is closed? Like, what do you mean I can't go?" Like people don't like that feeling of being told that I can't go do something.
Yeah.
Something that you just previously just got finished doing. Like they don't like that feeling. They were just like, "Oh, what do you mean I can't go? What do you mean the clubs are closed?" Like. And I'm just sitting at the crib like, well, I wasn't doing nothing no way. So I was just chilling. But, like, I could see how that quick transition from, like, freedom to nothing just kind of overtook some people. And, like, it just completely changed the way that we live life. Like, everything that you're used to is now different. Even when you go out, you now have to, like, wear a mask. And, like, they want you, like, I'd use quote-unquote social distance.
And see, one of the reasons I'm, like, honestly, I mean, to each their own. I just feel like everyone should serve their country. Mm. That's just how I feel. Yeah. Like you don't have to agree with it. That's just how I feel. You know, we can all disagree. Mm. We can all agree to disagree. But one thing that I'm glad about serving the military because honestly, like this it didn't hit me as hard because I'm prepared. Like I already like after 9 years in the military, like I already understand sacrifice and not having freedoms. Like. Especially after you go on a deployment, and you're away from family. Mm-hmm. You can't go to the stores when you want to go to the stores. You can't put on clothes when you want to put clothes on. You can't eat what you want to eat. You got to go here at a certain time, there at a certain time. You got to go lights out at a certain time. Like everything's so restrictive. Like during basic military life, especially on a deployment, for months at a time, you're just doing that for like 7+ months, and that's just like you're living under complete restrictions, totally isolated from your regular normal life.
It's different,
and so you're used to that, and you're trained to deal with it. Like you can handle that. Like it's just part of life.
Yeah.
So like to me, it wasn't a big shock to me in my life because it's like, okay, this. So you telling me I can't do this? I can't. I'm like, I mean, I'm already used to that kind of stuff. Like it doesn't faze me because it's like. I've already been conditioned. Like now, I'm a civilian now, but like, so I'm used to having more freedoms. But I'm still conditioned to. I can adapt and overcome that. Like it doesn't faze me when there's restrictions or something I can't do. Like, okay, that's whatever. I'm not gonna trip over it. I'm not gonna lose sleep. It's like okay, it doesn't make any difference to me. Like I mean, you know what I mean. Like
I mean, I was in that same situation. So my very first deployment when I was in Afghanistan. Like, it was kind of new to me, but, like, I literally got taken away from everything that I knew. Like, I got taken away, and now I'm in, like, a foreign country. And this is back when I was, like, in my early 20s. Yeah. So I used to talk to, a couple girls at a time. And, like, it seemed like as soon as I left, I got 3 separate phone calls from all 3 girls. They're like, yeah, I think we should just probably end this for right now. And it happened within, like, the span of, like, 4 days. So I had lost all the people that I talked to. And then I get here. And it's like the time zone was flipped around. So when it was daytime for me, it was nighttime back home.
Yeah.
And I only called a few people. Like I called like my mom, and then I had like maybe 1 or 2 people that was writing letters to me. But then that was pretty much it. Like that was the point in my life where I felt the most secluded, because like I worked night shift, so everybody else worked day shift. So I didn't get to see a lot of people because when I went in, it was nighttime, and I worked in like a building. And I just went in for my 12 hours, and that was it. But, like, that was when I felt the most secluded. Like, I literally went from work to the room to sleep, gym, eat, back to work. And with no deviation. Like, that's all I did. Like, I had a little social time with people, like, maybe, like, an hour or 2. Yeah. But, like, I just wasn't spending no time with nobody. So, like, that seclusion, like, and I did this for, 7 months? Like, 7 months straight, and that was all I knew. So I have been kind of conditioned. So like when this whole thing first kind of kicked off, like that's kind of what it took me back to, and being like on a restriction. And I was just like, well,
that's like the best way to say it, like you're on restriction. Which restriction is even worse. Like when you say restriction in military, it's like it's a bad thing. But like you know what I'm saying. So it's like it's different. But it's like you get so used to that it's not even like really a problem. Like I already understood the mentality. So, like, for me, it wasn't that big a deal. But then you see everybody freaking out, and I'm like, man, okay. So, I said, this is hitting people hard.
Because they never had to deal with anything like that. Like, they've never had that being uprooted and everything just kind of taken away and like, hey, this is what it's going to be. Like, there's no negotiations. Like, some people aren't conditioned to have that because in their mind, they're like, well, hey, I want to do what I want to do. Like, this is my life. When I was 22, I was in Afghanistan. Like, for my 22nd birthday, I was in Afghanistan, like, having people tell me what it was going to be. Like, hey, man, this is what you're going to do. And that was literally it. Like, nobody cared about my birthday. Nobody cared about, like, how I felt. It was just what it was.
I missed my son's birthday. Like, I was deployed when my son was born. Like, that's crazy. Like, my son's being born. And I'm in a different country right now. Like,
take part in that.
So it's like I was already kind of conditioned to that, and so it's like it was kind of weird. And then like you see like how everything's kind of changing, and I said it hit the black it hit the black and Hispanic community when Cardi B put out that song. I'm not gonna lie, when you first showed me that Cardi B song,
it was low-key jamming though.
I was like, it was low-key jamming. I said, she said coronavirus. I said, because they like to meme. Yeah. I said, okay, they memeing about it now. I said, okay, now people probably trying to take this serious. I said, it was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny, but I was like, so people probably starting to notice now. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, so now this is like a real thing. So, like, where do we go from here though? Like, what do you see? What do you see happening in the future? Like, what do you see like changing in your life and in the world around you?
Like, honestly, man, like I've had this conversation multiple times with people, and like it's like, oh, do you think we'll ever go back to what it used to be? And I was like, honestly, no. Like, I think what we're living through now is going to be the new social norm. Like, this is what it will continue to be because this is just something that nobody saw coming. Like, nobody was prepared for a change this big to happen right now. Like, obviously they canceled schools. Like, people that were in school, they didn't even get to walk across the stage and graduate at this point. Like, they're canceling sporting events. People can't go to school. Like, they're doing online. I mean, everything is just changed. And I think that, like, because we don't have clear-cut guidance on what follows or what we can do, like, I swear I have the same conversation with Dad, like, at least once a week. Because he's always like, I was reading the paper today, and they said, oh, I beat COVID. He's like, but you ain't beat shit. Like, ain't no cure. How you beat it? I was like, all right, Dad, listen. When people get COVID, you just quarantine for 14 days or whatever, and then, like, it just goes away. He's like, but you ain't beat it. I was like, yeah, you didn't beat it, but, like, he's like, well, why? Can you get it again? I was like, I think you can get it multiple times. He's like, well, how you gonna say you beat COVID? Like, why we keep putting on this shit on the news about I beat COVID? I'm like, listen, Pop, I don't know, but maybe it just makes people feel good to know that, like, in a sense, quotation marks, I beat COVID, because, like, I don't know, like, we don't really have guidance on where to go from here, because we don't have a cure. Like, without a cure, it's just kind of like, listen, man, we just have to live our life based off of what we think is the right thing to do.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing with the cold, though. Like, a common cold, people are like, oh, it's just the cold. Like, right now, I think COVID might turn, eventually, it might turn to, like, the common cold. Yeah. Because, in reality, a cold can kill you.
Yeah.
Depending on your physical...
Like, immune system.
Yeah, you're, like, depending on what kind, like, how healthy you are, a basic cold can kill you. Like, we have things to help you cope with colds and get with them. But a cold can't kill you.
Yeah, if left untreated.
And you can get a cold multiple times, but it could kill you. Just like COVID, the difference is, like, there's no, like, cures or vaccine. There's nothing, like, you can't, like right now, if you get a cold, you can go to the store and there's endless options of medicines and things you can get for it, because it's just known now. Before, when it first, like, before it was known, it was like it could kill people until we figured it out. And now you can go to the store. So eventually, COVID will get to the point, like right now, like, if you're relatively, like, obviously it's all situational. But from my understanding it is possible to get it, and if everything works right in your favor, after a while it'll pass.
Yeah.
But it could kill you.
Yeah. Or it can have long-term effects that affect you further on in the future.
Yeah, it can affect your future. But right now, we really don't know anything.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think it's going to turn into one thing like the cold. Like, eventually, there will be, vaccines or cures or whatever. And then you'll go in this fucking store, and then on the cold aisle, it's like, Theraflu, you have cough suppressant, COVID-19. like that's just gonna be there.
So with that, do you see things going back to how they used to be, or do you think that we'll have by that point established a new social norm as to like, hey, a mask is like just a regular part of life now, or do you think it'll get to the point where we'll kind of go back to how it was before?
I think we'll digress, but I think a lot of people will still like feel that they don't know.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, I'm not a doctor, I can't give like advice or stuff one way or the other. Yeah. Like, that's just not my field of expertise. I can just talk on what I feel. But I feel like people are going to be more wary now. And I think it's more like a realization. Like, people, it's almost like, I feel like people have been in a bubble and don't realize things. Like I always go back to the military because it's just like I spent so long there. Like, that's just what I know. But like a lot of people like we live these great lives. Everything's cool, and we're having so much fun. But it's like you don't see everything around you. Like, a lot of people don't care about what's going on around them. Yeah. But like, so it's like when you're in a military environment, you see a lot of stuff that's like, or if you're or even like say like stuff right now, like as a firefighter, you see a lot of things that happen that most people don't necessarily see, and that can affect you. Like, man, this is like, life can get kind of bad. So you're always like mentally preparing yourself for like, man, these things can happen. These things can get bad. You don't want to dwell on it, but at least you're mentally prepared that like that you can mostly handle it. Most people live lives as just
day to day
kind of. They not letting a lot of things that go around affect them, or not caring enough to actually be engaged with it. And that's fine. Like, that's it's fine if that's what you want to do. Like, there's no judgment on that. But like, when these things happen, and then now everything affects you, and like now you don't know if you go somewhere, if you go buy a bag of sugar or a gallon of milk, you don't know if the person next to you is safe. And so you have that fear. And what do we talk about? That fear of the unknown, remember? Mm-hmm. Like, we talked about the fear of the unknown and not knowing. That fear, I think, is going to last.
I think so too.
I don't think COVID will necessarily last, but that fear now,
like the psychological aspect of the COVID will continue.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's necessarily gonna be a COVID. I think it's less COVID and more of the fear of the unknown. Like, I don't know if you're safe right now. And then it's like, if I get it, and then my kids get it, and then it's like you don't know. It's like, so I think it's just that fear. So I think that fear will prevail. Eventually, with all things, time will prevail, and we'll go back to normal. But I think there's gonna be a big shift in the way people think and the way people move. People gonna move different. Like, they're gonna move different for a while, and it might become ingrained. Because like I said, I think it's 28 days of doing something before it becomes a habit. Yeah. And so like, we've been doing this for a while now. So this might be ingrained as a new habit. Like, you might not even think about it. You just might pick up a mat. You go to the grocery store. You just pick up a mat. You just condition yourself to do that over the last couple months. So
I don't know. Like, I look at it kind of differently, because like, after the initial wave of this, we'll call it the initial wave of the whole COVID thing kicked off, after like 2 or 3 months, everybody wanted to kind of get back to what they was doing. And like, I'll be the first person to admit, like, when they closed the gyms, my heart was hurting. I was like, damn, the gyms closed. It's like, I felt like life was over. I was like, what do I do? But when they opened the gyms back up, I knew that COVID was still prevalent, and I didn't care, because I'm still going to the gym now, because I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to get it, damn it, I'm just going to get it. Like, I'm not going to live my life in fear. But like, there's two sides of the spectrum. There's those people that are like, I'm not doing nothing because I don't want to get COVID. And then there's the other side of the spectrum that people are like, hey, I'm going to live my life, and if I get it, then I'll just deal with it. Yeah. And, like, I think that's more so where people are kind of leaning towards right now, because, like I said, I went to the gym one day, and I got a buddy at work at the club, and I was like, man, I know you've been hurt. And he was like, why? I was like, yeah, the club been closed. He's like, man, strip club back open again. I was like, hey. And this is like 2 days after the gym opened. I was like, what you mean strip club back open? He was like, yeah, man, strippers in there with masks. I'm like, what the like, you telling me, like, you because he a bouncer. He's like, yeah, bro, strippers in there with masks on. And I'm like, so.
You know, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
That's weird, though.
Yeah.
Like, you think about going.
She got her mask on. She's dropping it on you.
She's dropping it with the. Yeah. She got the little mask on. Like, man, it's weird. Like,
but the
vision of it is weird.
Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why would people go to the strip club? Because I'm like, but then I was like, I can't talk because I'm in the gym. But like, that's just to kind of better myself. But it's a dude there just looking at ass, just like, I need this in my life.
You know, it's funny.
I need this.
It's funny. I didn't understand it. But I would just roll with it. I used to work when I worked at. Many moons ago. I used to work at Olive Garden. Remember?
Yeah, back in the day.
I had my boy Day. I think I was. What was I like? 22. I might have been 22, 23. I think I was about 22. Either way. So Day was like what, like 30, 35.
He older.
Yeah, he was older, but like he was a bartender, but like, he was real cool. And he was like, and I learned to like, man, I just gotta tell him no. I gotta tell him no. I'm busy. He be like, look, oh, should we off? You do anything tonight? I'm like, nah, first time. So, mind you, we get off like 10 o'clock. I didn't make it home till 8 o'clock the next morning. Man, so we got off at 10. We went to go change. We probably stepped out at about 11. I didn't make it home till 8 the next morning, and I had to be at work at 9.
Sounds about right.
I had to be at work at 9. we didn't get down to 8. I was so this is how the night would go. He'd be like, I know a spot. I hate it when he say that because he would always say it. I know a spot. So I'm thinking we're going to a club, right? But we go to like a little. We would start off with we may go to like a little club, whatever. We go to like a little dancing spot. We have a couple beers. We see a little couple chicks. We have a little dance, and it was fine. And we'll stay there till about 2 o'clock. And he'd be like, man, I know another spot. I said, another spot? The club's closed. They're like, what spot's open after 2 o'clock? I know a spot. So we pull out. We in Dallas. I'm like, that's the strip club right there. What we doing? Boom. Let's go. I'm like, all right, I'm going to just roll with it. Mind you, I was never really into strip clubs. Like, me personally, like, you know, they got to make their money. Yeah. That's fine. Dudes want to spend their money. That's fine. I just personally never been one to see a reason to give my money to somebody else just to shake their ass. Like, I just don't get it. So I don't do it.
But you was still in there, though.
But I was in there.
But you was in there.
I was in there.
And you was partaking in the festivities.
I wasn't putting out no money, so they probably like, this nigga don't never spend no money. But shit. I used to always wonder, like, man, he probably make all this money in the bar. Man, they always be broke, because every night, he was just boom, boom. I'm like, man, I said they love Day. I'm like, man, everybody know Day up in here. I'm like, no wonder every time you go up in there, you just lap dance. He's let me get my boy a lap dance. I'm like, no, I'm good, man. Keep it to it. No, I got you, dog. I'm like, all right, man. So I'm getting lap dance. He getting lap dance. We stand there. He like, I was kind of dying in here. Let's go. I know another spot. I guess this hasn't been a strip club. At this point, it's nothing decent open at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's the ungodly hour.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chloe X Haley.
Yeah,
that's the ungodly hour.
Like there's nothing good going on at this time of night. So we hit this other spot up, and then this happened about two more times, and then it had to be like almost 5 o'clock in the morning at this time. We're still in the strip clubs. And I'm like, man, how do you do this every fucking night? But this is my first time out, so I'm hanging with it. And then it was like 5 o'clock. He was finally like, look, man, I'm hungry. You want some breakfast? I was like, yes, we finna get up out of here. I was like, yes, let's go get some breakfast. He's like, I know a spot for some breakfast. You ready to go? I was like, yes. I'm in my mind, We finna go get
We
breakfast.
finna close the night
We
out.
going to Denny's. You know, we going to IHOP. We finna close this thing off, and I'm finna go home, go to bed, and get ready to go to eat. So you maybe get a couple hours sleep before we go to work. He pulls up to another strip club.
Yeah, they serve breakfast here.
I said, "What the? I didn't say nothing, mind you. I didn't say nothing." But he pull up to another strip club and go in. The first thing I see, I'm like, I thought we was going to get breakfast. He's like, oh, it's a buffet right here. Mm-hmm. They got a whole spread. I'm talking about a whole spread right on this table, and right above the table, they got pole dancers right there, right above it. I'm like, I said, so you can watch them. You can watch them drop it like it's hot while you up there getting muffins in your eggs. You know what I'm saying?
You finna get some
I'm like, man. And I said, this is crazy. I said, and he did this probably about 3 or 4 nights a week because he was trying to get me out. I'm like, man, I said, how do you do this? And I'd go a couple times, but I was like, man, I can't keep up with this. Like you do this too much. And I was like, this is the typical lifestyle of a lot of people. Like a lot of people who go out, I said, they want to go out. So when stuff like this happens with the whole COVID, like, I'm sure they'd be like, shit, I'm finna still go in that strip club. Like,
I ain't stopping.
We finna still get up in there. Like, these are, when you got people like that, like, who when they do something that they enjoy, and don't knock to them, like, I couldn't do it, but, like, I'm a big proponent of, like, you do what you enjoy. Like, if it's legal,
it's your life.
If it's legal, you do what you enjoy. Like, you doing some shady shit, I'm not, whatever. But if it's legal, like, it's legal to go to a strip club. And I wouldn't suggest it, or I wouldn't do it. Like, I don't think it's a good use of money, but, like, who am I to judge? Like, I can't tell. Like, you do what you enjoy. Like, this is your life. So, if you like going to the strip club and getting lap dances, go. If you like going to the gym and that's what you don't want to do nothing else. You don't want to hear nobody talk about nothing. You just want to go to the gym. You want to go run. If all you do is like the play softball, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Just do it as safely as you can do it. But like the paradigm is now shifted. Like all those things that you like to do now, you can still do them for the most part because they're open. But people now have to start moving differently, and like it really has changed life. But like I said, there's two sides of the spectrum. Those who are overly cautious and those who are just kind of like, I'm going to live my life and just kind of do what I want to do. I like to think I fall somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm going to still do the things I want to do, but I'm going to try to do them as safely as I can do it. Because there's a lot of things that I wanted to do this year. And like, the one thing I will say COVID has really given you an opportunity to do is to do those things in-house that you said you was going to do, like read more. Like, I wanted to travel this year, so I'm not going to be able to do as much of that. I'm still going to travel a little bit, but I'm going to try to, limit it as much as I can. But, like, COVID has allowed people to, like, really get in touch with themselves. And, like, you should, in essence, when COVID is kind of, like, dying down, you should be able to look back and pinpoint, like, hey, man, I got a lot of stuff done. Like, I became more self-aware. I learned a new language, or like I picked up a new skill, a new trade.
Yeah, it's definitely stuff. Yeah.
So I think while COVID does have those negative effects, I think it does still have some positive effects, and it's giving people that time that they need to accept the change in their life, and then like find productive ways in which to deal with it. Yeah. So whether that was like I'm gonna learn a new language, or like I'm gonna start my own business, because a lot of people are starting businesses because like they've lost their jobs and they're having to start to work from home. So I think COVID, like I said, I'm not trying to say it's a good thing, but it has had some good and it's had some bad.
Well, there's good and bad in everything. Yeah. In every situation, like there's a good and a bad. Like you have to choose to see it.
Yeah.
We talked about choices last episode, where you make your own decisions. Yeah. In every situation there's good and bad, but you have to choose how you want to see it and how you want to allow that situation to make you move. But like I said, I know just personally, like there's stuff I need to do and I have the time to do it. The kids have been home. I mean, I've got to spend more time with the kids.
Yeah, that's always good.
I mean, they eat more food at the house, but I mean,
good and bad, just like
it's
you just
good
said.
and bad. But it's like, man, I get to spend more time with the kids. Great. Damn, they eating me out of house and fucking home. They was eating breakfast and lunch at school. Now it's like, shit, we want breakfast and lunch here. It's like, oh man, they eating breakfast and lunch every day for the last couple months. It's like, man, this is. It's different, but we gotta make adjustments, man. Yeah. We gotta make adjustments and make it happen. But
it's changed life quite a bit, but I think for the most part, I think people are kind of like settling into the new norm. We'll say that people are starting to settle into the new way of
as
living.
much as you can settle.
Yeah, and kind of doing it as comfortably as they can do it. Because, like I said, I've kind of settled into it. For the most part, I don't like wearing masks, especially in the gym. I hate wearing a mask in the gym, but I understand it, and I'm not gonna go against the grain and try to cause this big thing about it. I'm just like, hey, look, if this is the way it is, then damn it, this is just the way it is. I'm just like, okay,
you're gonna get a pump.
Yeah, I'm chasing that pump. I'm gonna have that. I'm still gonna do all the things I want to do, and I'm just trying to do them as safely as I can. But like I said, I think that everybody is kind of staying productive in their own way, and that's what I hope. My hope is that everybody kind of comes out of this with something a new view on life, because it seemingly did happen kind of overnight. So hopefully you've taken
appreciation for how quickly things can go to shit.
Yeah.
And at least now you can deal with it.
Yeah.
You can get through it. Mm-hmm. You've been through some stuff. So like I said, we thank y'all for all coming out. We just hope y'all stay positive, stay safe. Mm-hmm. Control the things you can control.
Mm-hmm. Go out there and be productive. If you haven't been, go out there and be productive. Go out there and make today a great day. Go be legendary, all right? We all got this. We all in this together.
And until next time, holla.
Yes, sir. Thanks for tuning in with us today. Hopefully we were able to give you something you can use and take forward into your day. If you want to reach out to us with any questions, comments, concerns, or even topic requests, links are in the description. Join us back here again next week in the MadHouse. We appreciate you and where you are in your journey in life. And always remember, we're all quite mad here. You'll fit right in.